long time no see. So, I'm wrapping up the season. Funny story, I did a lot of work on the car this summer. I had my first month or so off in years since I started school. And I did a lot of work in the car, and I shot a lot of videos. And most of it is gone. Things started getting crazy towards the end of the summer. Some things happened. Anyway, I have a handful of pictures and whatnot to show you guys, but I'm pretty much wrapping up the seat for the car. And I've got some news on some things. So right now I'm driving the car. We had snow a month ago, but since then we've had a handful of rains. It's not salted since. So I'm running out real quick to go fill up the tank and put some fuel stabilizer in, just as a way of storing the car. I don't know if we're either dropping more this winter or not. So this is my chance to sort of get it ready, preserve the tank and everything, make sure the gas is good for springtime. So anyway, you may notice, I don't know if you guys can really tell from your angle, but the interior is in. The car was pretty much at a stopping point. I thought I was done. There's a video I posted on Instagram, which I'll show you guys here in a second. So anyway, in the video, you saw the car was pulling really hard. I was really excited. I just finished everything. I thought it was pretty great. However, when I got back, I noticed that my RPM was like sitting around 300. And of course, that's not right. The car felt good. It idled fine, but the RPM was low. So luckily, Dan, who's a guy we'll talk about maybe in the next year or two, he had sent me a link. Apparently, it's a common issue on the all-track, is that the capacitors can go bad on the tachometer. So that's actually something I'm going to do. It's wintertime. I just finished fall semester at school. I'm going to pull out the dash, solder in a new tach, or not new tach, but solder in new capacitors, and hopefully resolve the issue. And then one other thing. So right here, I've got a switch. So I found this on Amazon. I can put a part number in the description. This is a switch that fits the space here on the dash, and I had spent a lot of time and did a lot of videos on the AC system. Pretty much had that resolved, and what it's come down to is I need to resolve the AC idle up. I'm not going to go into a whole lot in this video. I want to probably hit on a few things, but what I need to do is essentially set up a switch. I'm going to have it kick on with the with a relay that goes on with the magnetic clutch, and if I'm not happy with how that goes, then I have a button here I'll be able to flip for manual access. So I gotta get some diodes and a couple other things. It's not gonna be a huge deal, but it's one of the things I'm hoping to do this winter. Fix that, install that, and that's really about it. The car's gonna be stored. I'm gonna kind of go over a handful of things picture-wise that I did over the summer, just to sort of give you guys a rundown of all the work that was involved. But the big news I have, the real thing I needed to mention is there's a good chance next year I'm taking the year off from doing videos. So that was supposed to be the next season. It's actually the year of the 20th anniversary of owning this car. If I do any videos, most likely there'll be one video about that sometime next year. So the reason I'm taking the hiatus is because it's my last year of school. There's a lot of focus on. I have a really big final project I'm trying to do. I'm trying to actually build a video game around my Nori character as a game, as my final project for my senior thesis. And so what you can do if you want to follow along, I'm going to try to do a video series on it. If you want to check it out, I'll post a link in the description. It's my other channel, the Nori Moving Pictures, and I'm going to kind of go through the steps of what I learn and how I build the game, and that's going to be my focus next year. The car, everything's going to have to just sort of wait for me. I'm going to drive it some. I mean, the car's done other than the two things I mentioned, and so as I get free time, I'm just going to hop in, go for a drive. So I'm not going to have time to shoot video. If I do, it'll be awesome. If something happens and I suddenly have time, but I actually have a meeting this Friday with the professor because there's a special project in addition I might be doing for my senior year. So anyway, I appreciate y'all, sort of following along, sticking with me. I get hit up on Instagram every now and then, and I will continue to post on Instagram, especially if I get the car out to drive or get a chance to do anything interesting with it. Instagram is where I'll be constantly doing my updating or just random pics or whatever. But as far as my main focus, it's going to be school, because that's the most important thing. It's the final push. I got to finish, got to graduate, and then I can start really enjoying the car and all the other things. So some of the things I did over the summer, I had the whole dash out. I was underneath there for quite a while, and I pulled out all the wires, all the things I've ever added over the years, and I rebuilt a lot of them. I essentially put a new harness. And if you guys are wondering what's going on, I'm actually sitting in traffic because it's supposed to rain tomorrow, and I just want to get the car and run over and get the fuel stabilizer, fill up with gas. That's why we're actually out talking while driving. So anyway, I pulled the dash. I ran everything, reran all the wires, resoldered everything that I felt could have been better, dumped a bunch of extra stuff. I worked on radio noise, which I still have a hint of, but I got some devices that actually kind of kill that. And one of the things I learned is the radio noise is most likely caused by the alternator or lack of grounding. It's not something that's with the radio in the audio system. It's an electrical feedback issue. On top of that, I really cleaned some stuff up. The car looks sharp. It's really nice to be in the car with interior. I think I spent most of my time in the AC. I actually ran through every wire on the AC amplifier and through the ECU and ran a bunch of tests trying to sort of resolve this whole thing, try to understand it better. And what I came to the conclusion of is that it's not so simple. It's not as simple as moving some wires. You have to really have an understanding of what these signals are doing in the ECU to really convert things. And really what I found is by removing I think it was the ACT wire, that allows the AC to kick the magnetic clutch on. With that plugged in, the clutch won't kick on, but the AC idle up works. I could not find a configuration or set up a relay or any kind of tricks I could muster to actually get that to work. And so essentially what the solution is to remove the ACT wire, have the AC activate as is, and then I'm going to be using a relay that's going to be firing off of the magnetic clutch when it activates to flip over, kick on the AC idle up, and that will handle that. That's essentially the AC fix. It's that simple. It's not the fix I wanted. It's not as well automated or integrated into the system as I had hoped it'd be, but that's the solution. That's what it's going to have to be with the amount of time I have to dedicate to it and just to how important it is. I just really want an AC. And I might have to, I might not have the availability of, everything integrated the way it should be, but if I have a working AC, that's good enough just to get me through the summers. Besides that, the radio noise, fixing the wiring was a huge job. Having to actually go through here and pull all the wires and get everything fed right. I put it all on its own looms, got color-coded zip ties, made sure everything was just nice and tidy. Found a couple tricks along the way to make it easier. Of course, that was probably 10 hours into it that I had found those tricks, but it's done. If I want to add anything, I really don't look forward to it because I have to take off this bezel, and I'm really I was actually looking to order another one, and unfortunately they're discontinued completely. Toyota doesn't seem to have any more. If I can find an extra one, I'm going to buy it just in case I happen to snap this one. This one is brand new. It's the first time it's been, I think it might be the not the first time it's been put in, but it's pretty new. So it's probably one of the last ones in storage. Ran some cables for the phone. Also ran a new USB setup that's going to be powering the onboard tablet that's going to go in the glove box. I have to do a couple things with the OBD reader, but other than that, we're sitting here idling. Car feels good. Of course, I'm idling at 200 RPM, which is obviously not right, but the car feels good. I mean, it's done. It's just really time to enjoy it after I get those two little things done this winter. And before I wrap this season up completely, I want to do one more project with you guys. I wanted to take care of my tachometer. Now, I took it out for a drive. I showed you guys where the where I was driving it, and then I noticed that the tach wasn't going where it should. It's been idling at 300 RPMs, which is not right, obviously. I think typically 800 to 1200 is where I idle, depending on how early or how cold the startup is. So here I've got the cluster removed, and it really wasn't that bad. I'll post a link. There's someone who did a really detailed photo tutorial on how to take this out, and it wouldn't have been so bad. But I have the center gauge cluster here, which is not super easy to take in and out. And since I have the cables and stuff back here, they kind of get in the way. It took a little bit of maneuvering, but had I realized I had to do this before, I probably would have been in much better shape doing the wiring I had done, because I could have done so much sitting here rather than having to sit upside down hanging in the dash. Before I put this all back together, I'm going to probably run through with a vacuum. It's not terrible, but I'd like to get access to those ducts. Since I have it open, I can see some dust in there. Terribly not good for my allergies, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now I'm going to take this cluster inside, and we're going to see about taking it apart and then soldering in the new bits. And here's the tach out. See the back. These two blue capacitors here are the ones that are suspect. There's a good chance they are leaking, which is what is causing this. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't see any evidence of leaking, but I'm going to look a little bit closer off camera. And these are the capacitors that were suggested. Mine do look bigger. I'm going to have to double check the specs, but these are the specs I saw on the post. But I'm going to double check the specs on what I have actually here and just confirm that that's the same thing. And what I'm going to do is desolder and then solder on the new ones. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we can hopefully test this and have a working tach. So I'm about halfway through here, and I'm trying to do this without removing the face. They said to originally pull off the needle, but I've got something holding this for me, and I'm working behind it with a various set of tools. I've got things like these and pliers and whatnot, and I'm finally putting to use I bought this new a while ago, and I'd never used it before. It's not bad. It's a decent soldering iron. I mean, it's probably better than what I've been using. So anyway, you can see the difference between capacitors, and after I took it off, it looks like there was some signs of leakage underneath, which is, I think, why this was happening. But you can see this larger capacitor on the left, and the ratings are all the same, so I'm hoping that that is correct and going to resolve the issue. I don't understand why it's bigger, but it's 20-something years newer, so maybe there's a difference in technology. I have both in here now, and remind you that these are directional, so if you don't know what you're doing, it's best to maybe have someone else do this, but if you know enough about electronics and capacitors and want to do a little research before you do it, this is definitely doable. I just took pictures before, put them in the same way. I just need to snip the extras I have here. Solder's done, and I'm going to put this back in here. I need to do something about cleaning this up because it's got a little gray on it. I'm not sure what happened, just discolored. And then we can give it a test and see how it goes. Alright, so it's daytime and I have everything plugged in. I haven't secured it all yet. I want to get in here with a vacuum and just get any kind of dust in the vents and wipe down the screen or the glass one more time just so it has no smudges or fingerprints. But for the moment of truth, so before we were idling at 300 and it looks like that is more like it. So yeah, the capacitors are leaking. Let's see what kind of changes we get through the rev range. Yeah, that's already improved, because before I was getting I think a max of 2,000, but usually about 1,000 with the idle of 300. So that seemed to take care of the problem. I'm in my last week before school actually starts up. So what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to change the fluids, maybe do some odds and ends, but for the most part, leaving the car alone. If I get a free shot, I'm going to drive it. I appreciate you all sticking with me through all these seasons, all these videos, and I will be back. I will be doing more videos. I want to do one this year to celebrate the 20th anniversary of owning the car, and if time permits, I might throw a video here and there, but at most likely, it's going to be the one video. But anyway, I appreciate if you guys would go over to the other channel. I'll put a link in the description. Follow me there as I develop this game. That's sort of going to be the rest of this year. It's my final project. I'm making a game. It's based on my other channel or my other franchise. And I'm going to use this as an opportunity
to show people sort of the process of going into game development and learning as I go and sort of talking about the whole thing. So in a way, it'll be sort of how I handle the car, but it's going to be with making game for PC. But like always, I appreciate you all. I hope some of you out there will make your own videos and we'll see more All Track content on YouTube. And thanks for following me along the ride. I'll see you all next time.